Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Midwest Miniature Guys Sunday night super chill stream. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend as we try to ease ourselves into the week rather than rushing towards it. It has been a lovely, wonderful Sunday. We went to Stillwater, Minnesota for some pizza, and while we were there, I stopped off at a local bookshop as Kim wanted to go to Tremblay's chocolate and candy shop, and I was like, go for it. Um, so she went there, and I went to the bookstore as I am wont to do because I love books, and the older the better. I actually have a couple of fairly old books that I love to just every once in a while just pick up and smell. They're just fantastic. Um, and so I walked in with a semi purpose. I'm going to go to this screen here and talk with you here. I went in there with a semi purpose. One of them was to find either an atlas or an old book with maps that, of like the late 1800s to the 1900s of the United States. I found one. I thought it was really good. I almost bought it. I found another one. I thought that one was really good, and I did buy it. I should have actually bought the other one because it had better maps of what I was looking for. May have to go back. Oh no, not a bookstore. But as I walked in, that actually pertains to painting art in general, I saw this sitting on the table. And I thought this is fairly fortuitous and interesting. I had been thinking about it actually last a couple of streams about like and talking with a couple other folks like what made the old masters like they had to have learned from somebody, right? Like, where did they get their knowledge from regarding oil painting and things like that? Excuse me, get some water here. And how we've progressed from painting on the walls of caves to what we are doing now. And actually, kind of going back and rediscovering, like we ever lost the knowledge, but kind of building our knowledge, like with everything that's AI, and computer generated, which some of it is fantastic stuff, not the AI stuff, but with the computer generated images and the animation. And I love the Clone Wars, I love the Bad Batch, and the Pixar stuff is fantastic. But sometimes you really want to go back to the old animation or the old art. Like I still go back to comic book art and look at it and go, some of the comic book artists are really good. But I've noticed that there's been a little bit of a degradation even in that. I look at artists like Jim Lee, who's a favorite of mine, and a few others. I'm like, this is really good. This is good comic book art. And then I see a few others. I'm like, this just looks like somebody that was a cartoonist hopping in to do a comic book, but they're using more cartoon, which is fine if that's what they want. But they're using that cartoony style, and that's not what I think of when I think of comic books. I go back to like like the golden age of comic books, or even like the 1990s, even, and I look at some of the artists from there, and I go, this is the style that I like. No, maybe that's not the style you like, and that's fine. I did. Hey, you did it on purpose for an excuse to go back. Yes, exactly. I should have bought. I literally should have bought the other book. It had better maps in it. This one was actually, and it's pretty cool. But it's actually a book from like 1883 or something like that, which was an instructional manual. What could be thought of as a school book for like high schoolers because it has everything about geology and um, um, the atmosphere and how the winds work and things like that. And it's not just geography. To be honest, it's a great world building book. So if you want to make your like create your own world for role playing games and say, well, here's how the those tectonic plates work and this is how this works. It's very, to be honest, I think I'm just going to read it because it's very interesting about like how the world works and what they knew in 1883. And there's even like a questionnaire. Like after every chapter, there's like questions that they had to answer. It's a workbook. So I found it very interesting, and I kind of want to go back and get the other one because I'm a nerd and I want the maps. What I was looking for the maps for was for Outlaws and Law Dogs. I wanted to use it for role playing games because that map of the late 1800s into the 1900s showed the United States of what it was. Yeah, road trip this weekend. I may have to. And like I said, I just went there today and picked it up. But the book that I was talking about is this one here. It's by David Hockney, and it's Secret Knowledge Rediscovering the Lost Techniques of the Old Masters. And I was like, oh, I had just been talking about this with several people about like how did the old masters work and how did they become masters? Like why were they thought of that way? What was their techniques and things like this? And this just has some fantastic no, it has some fantastic art, but it also goes into detail from what I can see. I've just picked it up. I'm going to be reading through it. But like the paintings and noticing clothing and noticing how they were how it drapes and the depth that they were getting from like this one here is from 1303 to 1306, okay? And this one here is 1553, and you can see the different details. This one had a little bit on the collars, well, quick stuff, and then a little bit of shading down in here. And then you see this one, and look at the detail. That's like 200 years. And you look at the detail that this person has put into that dress. And the flesh tones. So I'm like, well, we can, I'm going to read this, and it's a thick book, but it has pictures, so it's fine. Right? Look at this. Look at that. The only people I know that paint details like this on miniatures are Europeans. We don't. Here in America, there's very few of us that paint like this. There's a few. I would say that Rhonda Bender or Aaron Lovejoy are a few that can pull off this detail. But for the most part, we're not. They've made it look like you can see the thread in this painting. You can see the shine of the pearls. This is before anything we knew of like non-metallic metal, right? Or how to paint gems. They were doing it. Now granted this is based off of a model, but they had to keep coming back with this dress on. They weren't sitting there painting this from a photo. 1545 Agnolo Bronzino, Italian artist. This one here was 1467 to 68, a year to paint this one. Antonio and Piero del Poli, I'm not even trying that last name. But you can see like here's the step of progression from 1425 to 1445. Yeah, multiple settings, same outfit, same pose. And they had to go back to that. It wasn't like snap a picture, okay, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. dressed in the same thing. It's seriously some phenomenal work, and I'm going to really enjoy going. Oh, I hadn't even seen this. So we talk about non-metallic metal. You can't see it here, but look at this. Here's here's armor 1448. It's just grays, right? It's literally just grays. Still grays, 1450. 1460 are going darker grays and like fuller highlight, some fuller highlights. Then look at this. You start seeing the shine. 1501, 1557, and 1625 to 27. Anthony Von Dyck, or Von Dyke probably, D-Y-C-K. But you can see the non-metallic shine. Like they figured out where the lighting was coming from and where to place it. Especially this piece right here, because you can see the gold filigree in the armor. Jose, how's it going? I'm doing well. How about yourself? Um, I mean, we're just going kind of flipping through this book like this. So this is the piece, Anthony Von Dyck, or Von Dyke probably, like I said. But this is 1625 to 27. This is oil painting, and how they're doing all of the non-metallic metal. Like he's got the darks here. You know that he's got some kind of light. I mean, at that time, it's probably candlelight, right, or lantern light, or something. But he's got the light where it's glinting off the armor and the sword hilt because he's wearing a rapier. Right, the sheen on the suit makes it pop. But you can also see, probably not on camera, but in through here, you see all of the little detail. Like there's little gears that are probably flowers or something like that that are actually on the. That looks like gears, but like the little arches and like here, like he's painted this and he's looked at the detail of the armor and has put that in, and it just pops. All the little, what am I trying to think of? Not bolts, but anyway, I'm blanking on the name of them. But all through here, even on the, like, he didn't really do threading or anything like that on the belt because it's leather, but it's a red leather. It's not a brown leather or anything like that. It's a red leather with tassels and stuff like that that's on the armor. It's just really phenomenal work. Now this is a photograph, but I mean, you couldn't. Sometimes you couldn't tell. Like, is this a photograph or is this? This is the photograph of a piece of armor. Rivets, thank you, rivets. Um, but yeah, look at this. This is a photograph, and you can see where the shine is. So he's using. He's got to be some kind of object source lighting that he's getting from lamps or like oil lamps, candles, something to get that shine on that armor so he knows where to put the highlights and shadows and stuff. Anyway, suffice to say, if you well, how the lighting really brings out the pictures. Yeah, it's a simply amazing. And some of these are just blows me away. Um, this is a cool comparison of wings. And I know it's like I said, it's kind of hard to see, but you see how like these are kind of like more stylized wings. Like somebody maybe not have has seen this. This is from the Death of the Virgin, dates 1310 to 1311. Okay, this one here is by Caravaggio and is from 1599, almost 1600. And you can see like he states here that the wings on this painting look more photographic because he probably had real wings sitting there in front of him that this guy Giotto didn't have. He didn't have the reference. So he just went, oh, wings. Okay, and here's feathers and, good. While this guy might have had eagle's wings or something sitting there in front of him, along with the kid holding the arrows and the lute and the violin and the bed or whatever, so that he had a model to work off of. So he could get that realism of what the feathers actually look like. This is what we strive for in our miniature painting, yeah, medieval art and technology really are a gift. Absolutely. It's one of those things where like I think back. God, this feels like the meme. I was thinking about the Roman Empire. I don't. I don't think about the Roman Empire that often. But if we think about the technology that the Romans used, some of us wouldn't be able to recreate that today. Like the aqueducts. How did they work? Engineers might know, but we don't. Like the common people to an extent. Those of us that but don't work in that field. But there are a lot of folks, even in the Roman Empire, that knew somebody that worked on the aqueducts, so they knew how they worked. They knew how the art worked. They knew, that's why they would go to these people and say, "Hey, I want you to paint this, or I want you to draw this, or I want you to design this." And the masters, like in this book, I was reading just a little bit of it. The masters were the master. Like they didn't do all of it. They would have multiple projects going on all at the same time. Aqueducts work with webbing on their feet. I was seeing my way out. Get out, get out. No, you're. But so they would have apprentices and things like that. That they might sit down and go, "Hey, this is how we're going to start," and blah blah blah. And then the apprentice would finish, or even maybe even the apprentice would start it, and then but the master would oversee it. They were like the program managers of medieval and Renaissance times, which I think is very interesting. Um, and to be honest, at least for my sake anyway, I think it's a better way to work to an extent. Like apprentice yourself to somebody so that you can learn that craft rather than going to a 4-year general university and spending $30,000 on learning stuff that you should have learned in, say, elementary, junior high, and high school. That's just me. Um, but anyway, I thought it was a very interesting book. If you don't have it, go out and find it. I spent $30 on this. This is the first edition. $30 for this big book with all this great art in it. Not only can you study the art, this is called The Secret Knowledge Rediscovering the Lost Techniques of the Old Masters by David Hockney. In the back of this, it also has um, his correspondence back and forth between different professors and things like that while he wrote this book, and their correspondence and their thoughts and things like that, because they talk about um, what are some of the other things they talk about here. It's the what is it called? I can't remember the name of this stinking little thing that they used. It's a little lens. The camera lucida. If you find it, the camera lucida is a super cool little uh, piece of equipment. They still make it. It's still out there. It will allow you to draw realism. I've thought about picking one up so that I can actually draw realistic items better rather than just trying to go from the bread pan here. The other one too is the camera obscura. I think that one's really cool. Um, Check those out. They're neat little pieces of equipment that will help you draw better. And then mirrors and all kinds of stuff that actually will help you with like object source lighting and stuff like that. Which artists have influenced you the most? Ooh. I think Da Vinci. If we're going back, always. I think Da Vinci's one. Um, Leonardo's another. I never really got into like Monet or um, Van Gogh or Rembrandt or any of those. I felt it too meh to an extent. Um, I really liked the older pieces because it looked more realistic, like they were painting people, and I liked that. I liked the skin tones. I liked the realism of that. Um, you see the Sistine Chapel, and you're like, this is just freaking amazing. Do we have artists that do that anymore? I think some of them could, but then there's others that you're just like, you're 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 just slapping paint on a palette or slapping paint on a piece of paper and calling it art. And I've seen a 6-year-old do better. Jim Lee for me is a huge for as a comic book fan. Jim Lee is one of my favorites. There's a couple others. I liked Frank Miller as an artist and writer, and that besides his political stuff, just him as a storyteller, I really enjoyed. And as an artist, I liked some of his stuff. Um, who is the other? I'm blanking on his name. What's his name? Um, Greg Caputo work on Batman. Yeah. Um, uh, as a fantasy artist, Jeff Easley, Larry Elmore, Keith Parkinson. Those three were probably my biggest influences for fantasy art. I never got to that side of like fine art, fantasy art, but those are the big three. Um, Errol Otis, just for his work in like first edition and even parts of basic and advanced and stuff like that. Just because his art was so it was bright. Um, Todd McFarlane, I loved his work with Spider-Man. Not so much as Spawn. I mean, Spawn was good, but Todd McFarlane, when he was drawing Spider-Man, was great. Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell, of course. Brom. Who's the other one? Frank Frazetta. I mean, all those. I mean, look at. I mean, and then they were using models, obviously, to do the drawings and then to do the paintings, but the initial drawings. You look at it and you go, I don't know if there's any artists out there anymore that do work like that. Because I saw, oh, and Geiger. Yeah, I mean, I came up with Alien. Yeah, H.R. Geiger for sure. But these were all folks that had taken inspiration from um, Da Vinci and Michelangelo and all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, I'm sorry, but all those guys. So there's a lot that we can go back and look at to better our painting or drawing or what have you. Yeah, I was right. We need Splinter and Casey. I mean, it's not the team without those guys, right? And April too. She's kind of the instigator of some stuff. But in looking at my own work, sometimes I look at it and go, "Wow, this is really comic booky." Like really, really comic booky. And I'm wondering if I can ever not so much get away from that, but start looking at my work in miniature as I would a canvas, more of a canvas piece, an oil piece. Even if I'm using acrylics, can I incorporate these techniques It's otherwise, I'm going down the same route as James Wobble, who does wonderful work in oils on minis. But do I want to go his direction? If everybody goes in the same direction, then everybody's putting out the same thing. And we all want to have our own. Yes, we're inspired. Just as a musician, musicians are always inspired by other musicians. You know, um, I was inspired by Pink Floyd and Dream Theater and Rush and Supertramp and the Eagles and the Monkees and Inagata, Iron Butterfly and Led Zeppelin and and jazz and what have you. But I play Irish punk. But maybe I throw in a cool jazz lick every once in a while, or maybe I throw in a prog influence once in a while in a song, especially if it's an original. So it's not, we're all inspired by something, um, and then we put our own spin on it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with miniature painting. And I'm probably boring the heck out of people right now, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in the first 30 minutes of this is be inspired. Go out and look at art. Go out and listen to music, if you can. Maybe you don't like music, and that's fine. My son-in-law doesn't like music, and it boggles my mind as a musician. But for him, he just thinks it's noise. Oh, to me, it's just noise. It doesn't allow me to think. It keeps me from thinking, and he's very much a thinker. So, Never Ending Nebula, thank you for following. I appreciate it. We are we're gonna get to painting here in just a little bit. I just kind of wanted to get that out there and talk about it for a little bit about being inspired, looking at other art. Either look at the great masters, look at medieval and Renaissance stuff, and then look at even comic book art or '80s fantasy art, just to be inspired by it. Look how they did the skin tones. Look how they did the metals. Look how they did the fabrics and things like that. And it's it's amazing how much detail they put into it. Go look at Charles Urbach's art and what he can do with colored pencils on a grand scale. Like I've seen his originals in person, and you can see all the little um, scratches from the pencil, all the pencil marks that he's put into this, and it's it's awe inspiring, and it makes me want to be a better artist. I need to sit down and draw more, and obviously I paint minis a ton, but I want to go back and draw more, and maybe do some canvas painting. I don't know, maybe. I've got some small canvases. Maybe I wouldn't mind doing that. It's just it's figuring out, well, number one, the time, and then also how do I go about it. I should probably get, if I'm going to like I said, I have some small canvases about 8 by 10s, 10 by 11s, or whatever they are. Maybe I need to get a small little easel so I can actually set it up and not be sitting it flat. Um, but anyway, Jose says, I gotta say, I've been admiring my minifigs that you worked on. They are really awesome and something to be proud of. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Jose. That means a lot to me. I like the fact that um, people enjoy what I do, and that means a lot. Um, Lion says, I have been gone for a year and a half. Yeah, I haven't seen you, man. I hope you're okay. Due to life threatening issues. Oh no. I am better now and recovering and just got actually back into a hobby I barely started. I need to see what you have done recently before you start tonight. Oh, okay. Well, um, I don't really have much on my desk right now, besides like work in progress type stuff. I mean, you can certainly check out either my Facebook page or my Instagrams or whatever. Um, but a lot of the stuff, we'll just get into it. And I'll show you a few things here. And I've been kind of switching in and out from paints. I'm trying to use up a lot of my Reaper paints and start buying more Pro Acryl. Pro Acryl feels a little bit more like the acrylic paints you get out of the tube rather than what we get out of Reaper. Now, granted, I still love Reaper. I do. I love their minis. I still like their paints. I just happen to like the Pro Acryl stuff a little bit more. Just a little bit. Now, granted, there may be still some colors that I'm going to keep buying. I still like their browns. I like their flesh tones and things like that. So I'll probably keep with that. But I've been finding that I'm mixing colors more rather than just going, oh, well, this is my shadow. This is my midtone. This is my highlight. I've been going, well, I can use this brown and then this color and this to create tones and different colors and different shades and things like that. And the shades are different than tones too. You're adding a little black, you're adding a little gray, maybe you add a little white, to tint, stuff like that. So I'm again trying to get more into this painterly feel rather than, and still using the layering technique and then washes and glazes and things like that if I need to, but just kind of getting more into a painterly feel rather than always doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that leads more into like competition painting or display pieces and things like that. Or if you folks are getting more into intermediate painting and whatnot, maybe that will lead into it as well. But I've yapped quite a bit here, and you've seen my ugly mug. So I'm going to get out of there, and we're going to play some music. I'm going to get my music down to a more reasonable level here. I think 30 is good. And then we're going to put that there. My socks, oh hi, what's going on? Nice work on that Chewbacca, by the way, my socks. Looked great. So, I've been using, like, Lion, I know that you've been gone for a year and a half. I've been using a wet palette now for probably a year, a little over a year, and kind of been enjoying it more, getting used to it more, and liking the fact that my paints will stay dry or stay wet longer than just a few minutes on a regular palette. So this is my, here I'll go to, here's my palette camera, so I can kind of show you what I work on. Get off my stomach there. So that way I can show everybody kind of like what I've been using, and at some point in time I'm gonna have like all three cameras up on the main thing. Yeah, it's a big difference. And then this is like our mini painting camera. So this is one of that I've been working on. I've painted it white, and I've actually been using contrast paints on this one, just sometimes they're a little bit brighter, and I can get a little with the chart, the coal black and stuff. Is I'm going to go up and over the some of the higher points because we're going brighter down here and higher, darker, brighter down here, darker up here. So now I can't talk anymore. With this one, but this is just a quick little Reaper Bones figure. The one thing that I've been working on steadily is my Teifling drummer. As I am a drummer, I asked Nate Schwartzbauer to pick this up for me, and he was gracious enough to do so. And so I've been working on this now for a little while. This is your only issue with MH. Oh, Monument Hobbies, you want a deep, deep black. Well, that's the thing, is you can always... I mean, coal black is nice. If you want a deep, deep black, you could go with, like, the blackest black. I think it comes in a tube. And that's... You could use that. I don't mind the coal black, because it's just this. And then this is actually one of the drums. So if I put these together, it's going to look like like this. I'm so nerdy about this. Um, but I'm gonna do the, and I know my socks. I did that whole non-metallic metal thing last week, and I just covered it back up. It's not the where I'm going with this. It's actually going to be silver here, and then bronze on the shields. And I think I'm going to do a green kit. I'm not sure what color I'm going to do the actual shields yet. And I'll probably do the same color on the little wraps here that I do on his bicep there. And I think I'm going to do the skins will definitely be skin colored. So if you see here the heads of the drums, those are going to be um, skin colored. But I am going to do I might do the Surf's eye. I don't know if you've seen my band's page, but we have a logo where it's an eyeball, but then it's separated in the Irish flag's colors, and then it says the Surfs like across it. So I might um, do that on either front drum head here, and then put the on this in white, and then the Surfs on this one. So it says the Surfs with the eye on either one. So that's what I'm thinking anyway. It's all good. It was nice to see your perspective on non-metallic metal. And again, that was super quick. Like, I did that in what, 15 minutes? 15, 20 minutes. So it wasn't like, oh, this is going to take me an hour, kind of a thing. That was a real quick non-metallic metal on a spearhead. So it wasn't anything like super fancy or anything. But, yeah, if I was going to do a competition piece, non-metallic metal, there would be some glazing and things like that in it. I'm gonna grab a glove here so I don't ruin the paint job. Because I don't want to get my oily hands all over my figure. Yeah, I was hoping that Alex would pop on while I was talking about the book that I got. Wait, my socks, were you on for when I was talking about the book? Lion, if you're still on, I'm glad you're feeling better, man. And it was good to see you back on Instagram. And I hope you saw a little bit of it. Okay. If you don't, you can go back and watch the VOD or whatever. I don't want to go rehash that again, but no, I really glad that you're doing well, and I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad that you're feeling better. I'm glad that you're in recovery. That's awesome. And just keep at it. If you ever need anything, DM me on Instagram. I'm here to chat. You had to have a liver transplant? Holy cow, dude. Well, I'm glad that you're getting better. Okay, so first thing is first here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of yellow. Yeah, oof, no kidding. Come on, there we go. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are ever in Stillwater, Minnesota, you have to check out Victoriano's New York style pizza. It is absolutely fantastic. I will I will advertise for them all the time. They're so good. Jose, if you're down that way, go check out Victoriano's. You may have already been there. You may know about it. It's so good. It's so yummy. So I'm going to do a little bit of yellow in his eyes here. Just like so. We're going to let those dry. Is that okay? And then there it is. Okay, didn't get any silver. Okay. They use the yeah, hardly. No, I'm chubby. This is not me for sure. Yeah, I am definitely not like this. I'm old chubby man. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of silver here. We're gonna do the belt buckles. Buckle there. Any other things here? All right. Yeah. To be honest, I have never looked like that. Even in my young days, I never looked like this dude. This guy is ripped beyond belief. I couldn't even aspire. I couldn't even perspire to look like this guy. And to be honest, I've never wanted to be Mr. Well, I can't say that. I have wanted to be skinnier, but not like muscle bound. I look at drummers like Thomas Lang. I'm like, ooh, yeah, yes. All drummers look like this under our shirts and under the 20 pounds of overweightedness. But Thomas Lang, Mike Tirana, there's a few drummers out there that are into bodybuilding as well, and they are ripped. And I got to give credit where credit's due. This band that we're listening to is called the Ozric Tentacles. They've been around for a while, and so if you like this kind of weird stuff, go check them out. They are still around. They are still touring and putting out weird music. They are from the UK, I believe, and I like it. It's weird stuff. It's great for a Sunday night chill stream for sure. Your favorite drummer is Joey Jordison. When he wasn't playing with Slipknot, Slipknot isn't my favorite band by any means, and I'm not going to give them any crap because they made millions of dollars and I didn't. He as a drummer is really good. Like if you sit down and listen to the stuff that he can actually play, he's really good. And I thought the stuff that he did with Slipknot was kind of beneath him, to an extent. I think he could have been playing in much better bands, or more technical. Yeah, Joey was a great drummer, and it's really too bad that he passed. And I say that about just about every musician. Like we just lost Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers Band. What a phenomenal guitar player. Oh, speaking of which, we just lost the guy that played Theoden in the Lord of the Rings. Bernard. Bernard. I can't remember his last name right now, but he just passed away at like 79 today, and I think that's much too young. Hey, Schwarzbart. Yeah, he was too young. 79 is too young to be passing away. Um, that being said, my mom was 73. So, um, but yeah, rest easy, King Theoden. You'll be missed for sure. What a great actor. He was also the captain in Titanic. He's been in a ton of stuff. Just a phenomenal actor. I just wish I could remember his last name. I'm sure if I flipped open Facebook right now, it'd be there, but I'm not going to do that. I still have some white left. Yep. Okay. Oh, and then also every once in a while, I'll pull up a news report that some 33-year-old athlete or something like that would be is was dead, like died, and I'm like, why are these people dying? I've noticed a lot of it lately. It's really weird. And these are not flags, by the way. These are motion lines. Very comic booky. I think that's kind of why I went more comic booky on this one. Because we've got motion lines on our spinning drumsticks here. Anyway, too many people passing for my not that I have any control over it, but too many people passing. Looks like a drummer out of the Savage Dragon comics, so yeah, it could be. Savage Dragon was so fun. I think one of my favorite comics, besides Batman and Wolverine and all those, the superhero comics, was Gru the Wanderer. I loved Gru. Yeah, Gru was hilarious. I freaking love that comic, and I see that he's kind of made a little bit of a comeback. I don't know if they're still doing comics of him, but there's a little bit of a resurgence, I guess I should say, of Gru fandom within like the last week or so. And I was like, oh, it'd be great if they brought Gru back. Of course, on the other hand, I don't know if he ever left, but I've been out of comics for so long that I don't remember. Once Disney started their monopoly, you got out of them. Yeah. Totally understandable there. Disney, the We Own Everything Corporation. Okay, put a little bit more white into my light blue here. That looks pretty cool, right? Looks like motion. Flip that around. Doing a great job. Okay. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Oh, and I didn't get to share those meat sticks with my game group on Thursday because not everybody showed up. But I'm gonna hopefully everybody will show up this Thursday, and I will open up the second package because I ate the first one. Those beef sticks are very good, by the way. I haven't tried the bacon yet, though. I haven't tried the bacon. I gotta fix that. That might be a breakfast for dinner kind of a thing. But it's currently in my fridge. Con of the North, you'll give me 3 pounds. I better bring a cooler then to Con of the North. Bolts are great with them. Oh, BLTs. Yeah. Oh, I bet. Oh, okay, so that... I'll have to get a tomato. We're headed out to run some errands tomorrow, so maybe I'll pick up a tomato. I think he meant BLT, and it changed to bolt. Thick cut bacon is the best, yeah. You don't have to tell me I am already a fan of thick cut bacon. In fact, I think I have 3 pounds of thick cut bacon in my freezer right now. Applewood smoked thick cut bacon that I got from Cub. But I think the stuff that you gave me is probably going to be better. It's not overly processed. Schwarzbauer, have you started your new job yet? And if you have, do you like it? Yeah, that sounds pretty good too, man, Lion. I do like the BLT though. I like the idea of that. There. Now the soles of his boots are painted. Oh, it's hickory cherry smoked? Oh, well. Okay, I'm drooling now. Thanks. That's gonna be so good. Thick cut bacon with a sprinkle of brown sugar and chipotle pepper seasoning and maple syrup. As a human, Lion, that sounds fantastic. As a type 2 diabetic, I gotta ease back on that sugar, man. But that sounds phenomenal. Sounds like a once a year kind of a breakfast right there. Alright, I'm putting in a little contrast paint. This is Iandan yellow. It's kind of a yellowy orange into the eyes here. Just to give it a little depth. I'll let that dry. I have no idea what I want to do that bicep wrap. Use brown sugar, cure, and salt. Oh, sounds phenomenal. Lion says, I am so ecstatic you paint the bottom of the boots like they are part of the mini also. To help with the type 2D, do a bit with the bacon. It makes it healthier. Yeah. You could chop up the bacon, right? Like smaller bits. Absolutely. Why would I not paint the bottom of the boots? Number one, they have detail to them. They actually have tread. They're not just flat. So yeah, that's a whole detail. Now, granted, you're not going to see it because he's going to be sitting like this. you know, and he's going to be behind the kit, so you're definitely not going to see it. But it's part of him, and as anybody knows, my socks, you know, she knows that Alex has ingrained in me. You paint everything. You paint everything. One or two to three colors at least. Paint everything. Should I do this little bicep wrap thingy that he's got? Did the boots on the mini as well, just in case someone wants to look at the bottom of it. Yeah, see? Exactly. You know what? You know what? I'm going to go... This is what I'm going to do. I have a favorite contrast paint. I don't use it a whole lot. I mean, I use contrast every once in a while. He's very good at finding unpainted bits of a model. Yes, he is. And then exploiting that and making you feel like a silly butt. I love Pterodon Turquoise. I think it's one of my first contrast paints that I ever got, and it's just, I love it. It's such a cool color. So I'm going to use this on the wraps here. You see where I like that turquoise? It's nice and dark, and I can highlight it. And I've got the perfect paint to mix into this to highlight it. It works out great. And that's what I like using contrast paints for, is to actually kind of give me an idea of where I want my highlights and midtones and such. Because it gets back down in there and it gives you that nice gradient already. But I definitely don't use them alone. I tried to paint a mini using just contrast paints and I didn't like it. Now I know that, you know, they're supposed to be used for getting your, minis on the table and getting play worthy and whatever, and I'm like, and that's great, but I think they just need to be augmented. And my sucks, if you want to post a photo of that Chewbacca, please do, because I want people to see that and really kind of gawk at it. It's such a great job. It's great fur, and I'm not kidding you. that bag that you did, it looks so good. It looks just like worn leather. You can post it in the chat. You can also post it in my Discord too, since you're on there. At least I think you're in my Discord. But yeah, you can certainly post it in the chat so other folks here can see it. Okay, I gotta let that dry. And then so I'm going to use, now his eyes are dry, at least they should be, they look like they are. So I'm going to use my .005 micron pen. It's one of these, or 005 micron pen. And I'm going to do the pupils here. I'm just going to give him a little bit of a, not eyeliner per se, but we're just going to, since we didn't get much of a darker outline to his eye, I'm just going to go wink like that. There. Now we're going to let that dry, because these are very water soluble when they're new. But I do want to put a little dot of white right there, but I have to let that dry for a while. Oh, that's cheating? Haha. Yeah, Lion, you try to do it with the brush, I have to redo it like 6 or 10 times. Yeah. You use the pen. It's much easier, especially on smaller figures. And you get really nice eyes. This is such a cool song. I want you guys to listen to this. That's still gotta dry. Okay, so we're gonna set him aside for a while. And we're gonna take this silver and a nice big brush. Just wait until the percussion kicks in on this song. It's super cool. So that's normally what I, well, for the most part, it's what a drum's rims would look like. We're going to do the same over here on this one. Yeah, and I wouldn't call using a brush cheating. I would call it a time saver. See, I like this song because they always return back to the theme after their solos. I need a little bit more silver here. You're not in it? Here, hold on. Let me invite you. Boop. Oh. Invite. There is. Okay. Lion, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have you on. Hang on here a second. Let's see if I can do this. I gotta think here. Turn the music down to think. Give me 1 second. I will be right back here. Oh yeah, let me see if I can figure this out here. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Come on. Let's see if I can do this. Copy that. We're gonna go there. And boom. Huzzah. Go there. Yay, everybody's here. Okay. There. There you go. Yeah, maybe green's not on anymore. Okay, well, we are that. Oh, so much. Okay. There we go. No, no, you're fine. We can derail. It's fine. You know what I should do? I need to. There we go. Okay. I needed to fix my my chair. I was wondering why my chair was so far back. Like, why is my back hurting? Kelsey, normally I'm derailing myself, so it's fine. Normally it's my fault. Start talking about something and full tangent. Alright. I'm still trying to figure out how to use Discord to the best ability, because I think I could do painting classes on there when I'm not streaming. Like if I'm just down here by myself, I could pop that open and go, "Hey, I'm live over on Discord. Come chat, hang out," and like have video on it too. And I think that would be cool whenever I'm not streaming. But I guess if I'm doing that, I could stream too. But I don't know. I'm still trying to. Leave me alone, man. I'm still trying to figure out how some of this newer technology works. Like the whole streaming thing just kind of blows my mind. Like I'm on the internet and we're doing this live and people are watching and it's craziness. That's gold. That's a copper. I don't want copper. I actually want bronze. Oh, hey, we got 8 people watching right now. Hey, everybody. That's speaking of craziness. That's how you feel doing live stream paint judging? Yeah. I don't know how that works. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, too. I have white gold. I have light bronze. There we go. Oh, no. Just because I said we had to 8 doesn't mean somebody had to leave. And who subscribed? I was at 5 subscribers and now I'm popped up to 6. Who subscribed? Who was it? I didn't get a notification. Whoever it was, thank you. I appreciate it. I know you guys are doing the live stream. Alex asked me to judge with him, and I can't do it because that's my 5th ed game night. And I felt bad. I was like, oh man, I really wanted to judge and do that with Alex, and yeah, I'm like, oh, Alex, if it hadn't have been any day but the 18th. Any day but the 18th. I'm getting nothing out of here. What's going on? Oh, it's just that thick. Holy moly. Well, it's like the only day in May that most of us can get together. We're going to be down 1 person. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if we're just down 1. We can still play. But there was one day I was like, oh, we're going to be down 3 people. Yeah, we're not going to do it that day. So everybody was like, yeah, the 18th works. And one person was like, I can't do it because I got a kid's birthday party that I'm running. I'm like, oh, thought we had everybody. But I'm like, all right, fine. We can do it with everybody. We can be down 1. It's no big deal. Yeah, I got to do in real life things. Yeah, those darn in real life things. I'm gonna listen to that again because it was a good album. So I haven't really used the light bronze too much. I actually kind of like that. Don't feel bad. There will be plenty of other opportunities for you to help paint judge. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I also want to enter some stuff too, but I haven't had the chance to paint anything competition worthy yet this year. Alex was asking me, "What are you gonna enter?" I'm like, "I'm not a darn thing right now. I got nothing, man. I saved up everything for Con of the North this year, and okay." Grab some white here. Alright, I'm going to try this real quick so we can keep going. Hold on just a second here. that is dry. Now we're going to grab some, just for funsies, because these are supposed to be fairly thin skins. To an extent. We're going to use some Guillemot flesh. And I know that I'm using contrast paints quite a bit on this one, but, or at least tonight. But this tends to work out really well. And I can always go back and highlight if I need to. Nope, that was not dry enough. Son of a gun. Whale noises. I was watching this stream and there was just a bunch of weird whale noises. Oh, it was Midwest Miniature Guy. There. I'm gonna grab this. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of light umber here. No, we're just did a little bit of Guillemot flesh contrast paint for the heads of the drum. That's it. Nothing special. I'm going to grab some light umber here for the shields. Something like that. I just stuck my finger in that. Well done. Alright, let that dry. Alright. Well, I've got it out. I'm going to grab some white. Because we're going to do... These are going to be the same color as the wrap on his bicep here. Which is that pterodon contrast. Okay, let that dry. Back over here. It's very watery. So we're going to get away from Pro Crow for a little bit here. I'm going to go with some Reaper Pine Green for our drum kit. Well, that's the color, but we're definitely going to have to put another coat or two on there. It's just... I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like Reapers, that even if you thin it down, I mean, it loses its opacity pretty quickly, while Pro Acryl does not. And that's okay. Well, we can do another coat. I'm not worried about it, but it's kind of a bummer. And to be honest, that's kind of the green I actually wanted in my drum set, but such is life. I've been talking with folks. I wanted to redo an old drum kit that I have, completely refurbish it, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. It's too old, too damaged. He said basically it'd be refurbishing it for nostalgia's sake, not really for playability's sake. I'm like, oh, okay. Suffice it to say that spear point is sharp. Yeah, it's pointy sharp. That hurt. Poked myself right in the middle finger. Felt grand. What are we doing over here? Mostly dry. Yeah, still need some drying time. So I'm going to grab some pure black. This is also from Reaper. I'm going to do the front heads of the drums. Yeah, looks pretty spiffy. And just for cohesiveness, we're going to use the Pterodon turquoise here on these, the same as we did the bicep wrap. Except it's still not dry. Okay, hold on. Might get a little loud here. There. Now it's dry. Then I'm going to use wildwood here, kind of as a wash or a stain on the shield. I'm actually going to thin it down a little bit here, if I can find a spot. Just a little bit of water. Like that. I was stuck on what I wanted. My sock says I was stuck on what I wanted to work on alongside you, but I finally decided to work on a wyvern that I started ages ago for my cousin. I'm hoping to have it done in time for his graduation in a few weeks. Nice. That's cool. Look forward to seeing that. That'll be awesome. Where's the whip model from? WizKids? Ah. It's a pretty good wyvern. Green is dry, so we definitely need to do a second coat on that. I think once I get the second coat on this, I'm going to call it for the evening. It's going to be I have a feeling it's going to be a long Monday tomorrow. But hey, it's Manic Miniature Monday tomorrow. So I'll be back 8 o'clock tomorrow. Probably still working on the drums here. It's his favorite D&D monster, and I figured it would be a nice gift along with a gift card or something like that. Oh yeah, heck yeah. We just finished up Quest for the Heartstone. It was an old D&D advanced basic or basic advanced module that they put out back in the 80s. We just finished it up, and it has illuminated me to the uses of puddings and oozes and traps. So I've come up with some major dungeon crawls for my 5th ed campaign that I'm going to be putting in traps and oozes and puddings and the like. And if I have to grab them from 2nd edition, I will. And I will augment them. Oh yeah, absolutely horrible to fight against. Along with my my new fun thing that Schwarzbauer got me. He's given me quite a few cool minis. But this is going to be I painted this for him before, but this one's mine. And it's got 4 magnetic heads. But this is going to be my augmented hook horror for one of the possible end boss, or at least a room boss for them to fight against. Most hook horrors only have the 2 arms. This one has 4. And much better armor. So I'm looking forward to painting that up and throwing it against them, along with my my xenomorph dragon from Dungeons and Lasers. I will be having this attack them at some point in time in the next 4 or 5 sessions, depending on how far they get. So yeah, looking forward to painting this up whenever I get a chance to. Along with my nasty beholder from Westphalia Miniatures. Can't wait to paint this one up either. Probably going to be a bit, but that's okay. It's going to be a bit until I get until they get to that area. So. I also need to work on a ancient white, blue, and red dragon. I need to purchase them. So I need big figures. I need big models. And I'm not going to go WizKids. Those things are stupidly expensive. So I'll probably go Reaper Bones. They have some nice dragons for relatively inexpensive in their Bones line. That's all I need. I already have 1. I just need to buy 2 more. Muhaha, muhaha. There. Alright, well, I'm going to let these dry, and it's a little after 10. So we'll come back to it tomorrow and work on it then some more. But we did at least get the drummer, well, almost done. We gotta do these, but I'm gonna do this one and the ones on the cymbal holders there at the same time, because I've got some another turquoise that I want to throw over the top of that and actually mix it in with the contrast paint. So for now, we are done. We're gonna call it for the night. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Thank you so much for the follows and for the subscription again. I really wish I could click on who subscribed, but I can't. I'll figure it out. I'll find out. And yeah, let's find a channel to raid. Hey, Wapelius is on. We're gonna raid Wapelius. So go watch some super cool painting with oils. Oh, I thought he was on. There he is. So everybody give James some love, and we will catch you all tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. See you then. Happy painting, folks. Bye.